Hey, what's up, YouTube? Monarch Synchro here, bringing you another segment of my playing tips. This time I'm gonna call it using Book of Moon. Uh, and what I mean by that is learning how to use Book of Moon not just to defend your monsters, but to also use it in versatile ways to surprise your opponent. And so yeah, let's get started. The first thing I have a field here of Stardust, Gale. I have a Armwing, Armor Master, and Silverwind with what is it called, Effect Veiler. So what the first thing I want to talk about is Stardust. Let's say you have a Stardust on the field and a Book of Moon face down, and your opponent, let's say Monster Reborn's a Gale, right? They use priority because they have priority when you summon a monster. So they call priority to shrink your Stardust. Most scenarios, people like when the Gale shrinks to Stardust, what they choose to do is when the Gale attacks, they chose to Book of Moon the Gale, and that's like a big mistake, because obviously like you unless you're playing against Mirror Match, and they run Kalutz or something, there's no reason why you should do that. What you could do instead is Book of Moon your own Stardust. That way, when the Gale has to continue the attack, and then what happens is like Stardust attack and defense go reset, and that means that the Gale loses 700 life points. It makes the opponent lose 700 life points. Could attack into Stardust at 2,000 defense. And what that does is that you deal damage, and not only that, but you get to save your Stardust attack points and defense points. So next turn, what you do is obviously you switch it to attack, you summon, you do whatever you gotta do, and you attack the Gale, and that way like you kept your Stardust, and you managed to pretty much like disrupt your opponent's play. So that's another one of the scenarios that I wanted to talk about, and another thing to talk about, like another thing to like consider when you have Book of Moon and Stardust, and they try to like Gale you or something. Another scenario that I wanted to talk about is when they try to Veiler you. Let's say you go Gale. Um, let's say you already had Gale face up, right? And you go Gale, activate effect to shrink like a Stardust or something or whatever, and they go Veiler. What you could do is you can, if you have Book of Moon, you can chain Book of Moon to the Gale. That way, it's no longer face up on the field, so Veiler cannot negate its effect. That way, the chain still resolves, meaning 1 and 2. But since this doesn't have anything to negate, that means that it just fizzles out, and the Gale still has to resolve. So what it happens is that it shrinks the Stardust, and what you can do is if you already had this face down, if you already had the Gale on the field before, what you could do is flip it again and activate its effect again, and shrink something else or shrink the Stardust yet again. So that's another thing to consider. Book of Moon versus um, Veiler. Veiler only stops monsters that stay face up on the field, so you cannot negate Sangan, because Sangan hits the graveyard, and obviously its effect activates in the graveyard. Colossal Fighter, stuff like that. So like let's say like if your opponent sims like a Machina Gear Frame, and you Veiler them, and then you try to bottomless them as well, they're gonna get their effect, because the monster is gonna be like Chainlink 1, and then you bottomless them. It's gonna be like the monster gets removed, so it's no longer face up on the field for this to negate its effect. So they're gonna get their effect. So just keep in mind not to bottomless them or book them, or try to do something when you Veiler them. Another thing that I want to talk about that is really, really, really important in Black Wings that you should also master, and that not a lot of people know, I believe, and that it can save you in a lot of tough situations, is like when you bring out like Silverwind, Armor Master, or Armwing off of Vayu. What you could do is if you have a Book of Moon, let's say your opponent, let's first talk about Armor Master. Let's say your opponent's like you're playing against gadgets, and they summon a fortress on you, and obviously this doesn't have its effect because it was brought out by Vayu. What they're gonna try to do is go Fortress. They're gonna try to ram into this, because Fortress is gonna like pretty much suicide with it, and they're gonna like kill this, and then pop another card on your side of the field, whatever it's gonna be. So what you can do, instead of booking the fortress so that they can destroy this, and then you can later attack it, what you could do is instead of doing that, you could book your Armor Master, and what that's gonna do is when they attack, Armor Master's gonna flip and it's not gonna die. The reason why is because Armor Master, as soon as it's flip face down and then it's flip face up, it does not remember that it was like synchro summoned with Vayu. So what's gonna do, it's like if it was gonna, like if when it's flip face up again with because of book, when they attack it, it's gonna pretty much gain all its effects, and like it's gonna be like they attack it and nothing's gonna happen because it cannot be destroyed by battle. So that's another thing to consider. Also with like for example Armwing, let's say your opponent has like a token, you're playing against what do you call it? You're playing against like quick draw, whatever, debris plants, and let's say you already had this and they have a token. What you could do is like you could book this, and then flip it again, and then now it has its effect. So now it can pierce your opponent, and let's say your opponent was like at 2,000, now you can game them instead of just attacking normally. So remember, guys, like same with Silver When if you book this and then you flip it face up again, you won't get the effect when it says that when this card is synchro summon, you can select and destroy two monsters, blah blah blah. You won't get that because it wasn't like flipping it face up wasn't synchro summoned. But you will get this other effect, which could come in handy, which is like when the next time a Blackwing monster you control will be destroyed by battle during your opponent's turn, it is not destroyed. The effect only happens once, but that could be like the key defining moment. Because what you could do is, I don't know, like flip this. If they're like, I don't know, if they like, for example, try to smash it or something, you can like flip it face down. And like if they try to attack it, let's say they forgot that it had 2,000 defense or whatever, it's gonna have its effect now. So like if they try to attack it again and like it's your only defense, you could activate its effect to like not let it die. So that could save you an extra turn. Or like try to protect your other Blackwing monster that you don't have a Kalute for it or something. So Silverwind's second effect can come really good in handy. So yeah, guys, that's another thing. Like, just remember, Book of Moon is a very versatile card. It's amazing. Like it's really broken, and you should be running this in threes. There's no reason why you should be running one or two copies. This should be run at three right now, especially because of Trap Stun, Royal Decrees, and all that other stuff that's running around. You need some sort of protection and be able to come back from tough situations. So that's another reason why you should use Book of Moon. And comment, rate, subscribe, guys, and let me know what you guys think. And yeah, talk to you guys later.